Many people in this world talk about being good and holy, but I suspect you want nothing to do with that. No, the path to those things is long and narrow, requiring far more work and far less immediate gratification than what you're looking for. You're looking for the easy answer, the comfortable road. If that's the case, I'm here to help. Here are 5 things that you can do right now to be a bit more evil. Number 1, remember that you come first and foremost. It's a dog-eat-dog world out there, and you have to look out for yourself because no one else will. In everything you do, every decision that you make, ask yourself, how will this benefit me? There are many levels of self-interest: my country, my family, my health, and the goal is to make sure that your focus is as narrow and personal as possible. Never do anything that doesn't immediately make your life better. Your happiness, not anyone else's, must be your utmost priority. Again, you must remind yourself over and over again that no one will care about your happiness unless you do, so you must be unwavering in your defense of it. Sure, you can help others if you want, do things that will benefit them as well, but only if you want to, and only if it ultimately helps you. Never let anyone tell you what to do or take away your freedom. At first, this might sound selfish, something against your natural impulse. You must fight against that impulse and retrain yourself. If you continue to struggle, remember that it's not really selfish or cruel, it's simply the attitude of self-preservation. It's nature. You don't see animals sacrificing for one another. Our primordial ancestors didn't survive by thinking about others first. It's in the best interest of us as a people, the future of the human race, really, that we put our needs, the needs of our family, and the needs of our country first and foremost. In doing so, we'll place ourselves in the best position to carry out the second principle: avoid suffering at all costs. Let's be honest, you only have one life. You have to preserve it as well as you can for as long as you can. There's no rational explanation for any type of suffering, and so you must be vigilant in eradicating it from your life. One way you can do this is to give in to every impulse you have. Never let a need linger. If you're hungry, eat. Thirsty, drink. If you're uncomfortable or just not getting the most out of life, drop what you're doing and get what you need to feel happy. Of course, don't just think about your immediate needs. Consider what you're going to want in the future and make sure you're well prepared. As best you can, save everything of value. You never know when you're going to need it. You might find that someone else needs something right now that you have, and so it's no big deal, just give it away. Remember, you might need it in the future. Keep it, just in case. Which brings up another good point. If you really want to avoid suffering at all costs, you must avoid people at all costs. Look, I know some people can bring pleasure if we use them properly, but be careful. Hell is definitely other people. They're awful, just unpredictable, erratic, nothing but problems. Be very careful with any interaction you have with others because everyone is concerned with the same thing you are, preserving their own life and happiness, and so they're a danger to yours. Isolate yourself as much as you can, physically, emotionally, and socially. But if you absolutely have to work with people, never trust them, and be sure to keep track of every flaw and weakness they have. It will definitely serve you well in the long run. In fact, this dovetails perfectly into point number 3, which is that if you want to be evil, you must periodically cause suffering in others. Sometimes this is going to be simply unavoidable. With everyone seeking their own self-interest, you're going to run up against people who want the same thing as you. That is a threat to your happiness. Never accept no for an answer, and never let anyone get in the way of what you want. Take what is yours. Of course, this is probably a natural impulse that most people already have, and so if you truly want to grow the evil inside you, you're going to have to go out of your way to cause pain in others even when it doesn't present an immediate benefit to you. Just like in war, preemptive strikes are a great way to get ahead of the curve. They can't hurt you if you've already hurt them, and they're much less likely to take what you want if they fear you. There are a lot of imaginative ways to do this, so I encourage you, be creative. Pretend to befriend someone only to betray them in their time of need. Keep enemies closer, right? You can sabotage someone's life without them knowing who's behind it. Send anonymous hurtful letters, spread rumors, steal their possessions, whatever you want. The best is when you can do something awful to someone and let them think that they deserved it or convince them that they're the evil one. That's next level right there. And don't just focus on the people who are threats to your happiness. Make sure to take advantage of the weak and the vulnerable, the sick and the poor, the really young and the really old. Anyone that can't defend themselves and actually depends on you. That's who you should be focusing on. It's a great way to flex your power and assert your dominance over others. It cannot be underestimated how important personal power is to this pursuit, even if it's merely perceived by others. Which is why step number 4 is that you must never reveal any sense of weakness. It's a fact of life. If you're weak, people are going to take advantage of you. That's what you should be doing to others, so you know they're going to be trying to do it to you. You must always be on your guard. Be sure, in everything you do, to come off as perfect in every way, always in control. You do not want to be perceived as someone with flaws. Again, under no circumstance are you to ever let someone tell you what to do, but you must also never admit to any mistakes, flaws, or wrongs, never ask for forgiveness, and please, above all else, never ask for help. I mean, come on. You might as well just put a target on your back telling the world how they can hurt you. It's better to suffer alone than to let yourself be vulnerable to another. Ultimately, none of this is going to stick unless you have an underlying ethos informing your worldview, which is why the most important step of all is this. You must relativize the truth. Along the way, you may encounter people who try to argue against this way of life, suggesting that you're acting against a universal moral code, against the objective truth of goodness revealed in the world, against an all-knowing God that created the world and guides it in a specific way. If you're going to succeed in being evil, you must convince others and yourself that this is utter nonsense. Remind yourself over and over again that there's no such thing as a moral order, no such thing as objective truth, no such thing as a God. It's all the work of other evil people seeking to manipulate and control simple minds. No, the world is whatever we want it to be, ready to be shaped into anything that will serve our pursuit of happiness. All truth is subjective, up to us to decide, and so decide for yourself what that will be. Use warped statistics to justify your cause, vague words to mislead people. Question anything that suggests a sense of authority outside of yourself, and be sure to attack any flaw that it may have. I recommend using ad hominem attacks against your enemies, throwing in red herrings to distract people from valid points, and really just making as many jokes as possible. The more you muddy the waters, leading the general public to distrust authority figures, the government, history, the news, scientists, all of it, the more likely they will be to believe whatever you tell them. People are dumb, and they can be easily swayed away from the truth to what will benefit them. And really, if all else fails, just lie. Honestly, if you're powerful enough and people see you as someone that can bring them benefit, you could stand in the middle of New York City, shoot someone, tell people it wasn't you, and many would believe you. Yes, if you relativize the truth, you can be as evil as you want, and no one will stop you. Okay, now obviously I do not believe anything I said in this video, so hopefully you got to this point or at least figured out that I was being sarcastic. I doubt anyone in this world embodies these 5 characteristics quite like I've described them or would admit to wanting them in their lives. And yet, my guess is that we've all sensed the capacity for such evil within us from time to time. There are times, even, when a small dose of these things might even seem appealing. But when you put it the way I have, taking them to their extreme, seeing the horrible logic that informs each, we can see how distorted they actually are. Sometimes it takes looking at the absurdity of the other side, the side of evil, to shock us into turning away from them. In a sort of convoluted way, in recognizing the horrible downfall of each of these steps, and deciding that we want nothing to do with them, what we actually do is help ourselves find a path to holiness. Look at what is evil and do the opposite. Instead of thinking of yourself only, think of others and their needs first. Instead of avoiding suffering at all costs, might we find a way to transform the suffering we experience, even willingly take on some of it for the benefit of others? Instead of going out of our way to cause suffering, how about going out of our way to help even those who can't repay us? Instead of asserting our power and independence, let's become more vulnerable and admit our weaknesses to God and others. Instead of relativizing the truth, stand by it with your life. Proclaim it with your whole being, with all that you think and do. Sometimes, if you want to be holy, if you want to be closer to God, it takes actively looking at what you don't want, recognizing that it exists in your life, and doing the opposite. The path may be long and narrow, requiring far more work and far less immediate gratification than doing evil, but the destination is definitely worth it. Turn from evil, seek what is good.